Senator. Your time has expired. Senator Dastiari.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. Look, I rise to take note of answers given. I rise to take note on answers given by Senator Brandis.
Order.
Look, I just want to begin by saying that I wasn't present. I wasn't present
Order.
at the Senate estimates hearing that other people were present for, and unfortunately, I am not as well versed in the events of that day, so I'm not going to comment on the events of that day because I wasn't there. I do want to raise. I think there's a very important issue at the heart of this report that I want to draw some attention to, and I feel it's unfortunate that the debate and the incidents around what's happened with Ms. Triggs, Professor Triggs, has unfortunately detracted from what I think is actually a very, very important report, and I think there are elements of the report that are worthy of discussing here. I think it's begin by saying that I think, Mr Deputy President, it's a good thing there are less children in detention at this point in time as there have been in other points in time. That is a good thing. What's not a good thing is, unfortunately, a lot of these children have been in there for a long period of time. I personally believe that any opportunity to shine light on how we deal with this complex and difficult policy matter is actually a good thing, and the Human Rights Commission and the work they've done and the role they've done in highlighting some of this should actually be congratulated. Again, I've read the report, I've gone through the recommendations. They're not all recommendations which I necessarily agree with, but I think they're an important part of the public policy debate. And when you come to this chamber, in the way in which I've come to this chamber, it's very difficult not to have sympathy for the plight of a lot of the people and a lot of the children who are here in detention. As a lot of the people and my friends in this chamber know, I came to Australia when I was 5 years old. My parents were political dissidents in Iran. We had a very difficult story, a very big struggle to actually be able to come here and come to this country. We came under a different migration program, but as I've said to others, at different points in time, we easily could have come under a refugee-style convention, and I wouldn't have thought any less of my parents if they'd chosen to flee the regime and had come through other means. There's a really difficult issue at the heart of this, and that is, how do you provide a fair and equitable system? How do you make sure you're doing the right thing by these children and the children that are in detention, and at the same time provide the necessary deterrent? Because no one wants a situation where there are people who are risking their lives, who are taking unnecessary risks, and when you have incidences of things like drowning at sea, I think is a real issue that a lot of us have to confront and deal with. This is not an easy part of the policy debate. This is a hard issue where we are trying to balance two very, very important principles. And I look at the story and the incidences, and you look at the 161 children that are currently in detention, and I think that quite a few of them were actually born not that far from where I was born. Quite a few of those children are actually Iranians, who several of them were a few hours from actually where I was born and the part of Iran I came from. And I can't feel that I look at the incredible opportunity that this country has given me in the short period that I've been here, in the 26 years I've been in this country. And I know that there's many other migrants in this chamber, with different kind of backgrounds and different migrant stories in one way or another, apart from perhaps Senator Paris. We're all one or two generations away from being migrants in this chamber. And I think that for a lot of us, it's an important kind of, and it's a very, very difficult issue. I think Professor Triggs should be congratulated on the report she's produced. I think she's a person of utmost integrity. I think shining a light on these issues is a good thing. I think it should be encouraged. I think this is not an easy debate for us to have, and there is actually a lot of quality in the recommendations she's put forward. Again, I don't agree with all the recommendations. I'm not necessarily sure that going down the path that she recommends at every instance is necessarily the right thing to do in a public policy sense. But I do believe at the heart of all this, at the heart of this debate, at the heart of this report, is a very important issue. And I think, unfortunately, the actions by Senator Brandis and making this entire debate about the professionalism of Professor Triggs, which I don't think should be in question, has unfortunately detracted from the real debate we should be having, which is not an easy debate to have, and that is, how do we do the right thing by these 161 children who are still in detention? Thank you, Mr Deputy President.
Thank you, Senator.